going on, folks? It's Matt here from Plur Designs, and we're back with another fantastic video. Today we're going to talk about something that kind of stole my heart for a couple of months and drove me and maybe my wife insane along the process. And today we are going to talk about tensegrity structures. So tensegrity structures are a really cool concept. They work based off of tension, and they use tension within opposite directions to make stuff look as though they're levitating, so to speak. So I saw a couple designs online on Thingiverse, on a few different forums. Let's see if I can find some of these original designs. So just within Tinkercad, or I'm sorry, just within Thingiverse, you can see that there are some great options for Tensegrity tables within a lot of different designs, like, you know, circular or triangular, and most of them kind of follow within these two parameters, triangular or circular. And I wanted to look at something a little bit different than that. So for mine, I chose to go with a square structure, a square type top and bottom to the Tensegrity structure. And this is what I ultimately came up with. I had first started by making a triangular one out of wood, just so I understood how these Tensegrity structures work, or Tensegrity structures work. Ultimately from there, I jumped into Autodesk Inventor and decided to mess around with creating my own square version of this Tensegrity structure. So what I was left with was this structure right here, and this same piece is replicated twice in order to create the full structure. Both the top and the bottom portion of these structures are identical in their nature. So you can see how I have two upright supports in this version, and these upright supports meet perfectly in the center there. And you can also see that it is open or hollow on the inside, so they are moving from that outer edge and meeting in the center. I also tried to include, you know, some fillets just to make it all nice and clean and extra strong. So this was my original 3D model that I had initially developed, and I had no idea at all if this would work. Let me show you the results. So the results I got were impressive, much better than I had anticipated. And this was my Tensegrity structure. And this is what I based ultimately my coffee table or side table off of. So you can see that, that if we look at it, these uprights are meeting each other. I used some fishing line, I also included a top on it. And while you see these are attached with our fishing lines, the tension pushing it together from these outside strings and the tension kind of pulling it apart, so to speak, within these inner supports are working against each other and create this awesome floating structure. I can hold it this way, I can hold it completely sideways. It's going to retain its shape, although it does have a little bit of movement, and that's from a lack of tension. If you apply more tension, you get less movement on it. So that was my general idea. In order to make that a reality, I had to scale it up to be much larger than obviously something like this would be able to hold. So in order to figure out kind of how much it held, I believe I started stacking some weight on this when it was at its highest tension, and when I started to see it collapse or spin or something of the sort, I knew that I had hit my limit. I then tried to do some calculations based off of size to figure out what a much larger full-scale version of this structure could hold. And it turned out it could hold, you know, somewhere like 60 to 70 pounds before failing, which was awesome. So I went ahead with my design. I first started by gathering some materials. I used oak flooring, recycled oak flooring for this project. And ended up laminating the boards together in order to create our structure. And since this is already done and I don't have a process video of this project, let's go ahead and go downstairs and I will show you the table. This right here is our finished product. So you can see that these holes line up fairly close. Hi, girl. Which allows this to use its tension. I decided to use braided metal on this project with some eye bolts and some clamps. And you can see if I give it a push, it will give itself a little wiggle, but it will eventually return to the shape. And wonderfully enough, the cats love it because they can explore it, they can walk in and out of it because it is basically levitating. Now, for this design, as I mentioned, I used some red oak flooring. I did lap joints along the edges as well as a chamfer to insert the glass on the top. I routed a nice little groove on the inside edge here so the glass can sit right in that groove. For the uprights, they are notched out and jointed out into there, and this is chamfered to try to match that angle in which it comes out. And of course, it's all attached using some Type on 3 wood glue. I even included some 3D printed parts to kind of hold these inside wires together. Now, this can always be retensioned if it requires retensioning. And then for the finish within it, I used tung oil, I believe I used 3 coats of that tung oil on it, just one right after another. Typically, I have that lamp sitting on top of it, as well as, you know, some coasters or some drinks and stuff. So the weight that it holds is pretty impressive. I'm pushing with a lot of weight on it right now, and I was barely getting any movement on it. These Tensegrity structures are awesome pieces of furniture, and just great kind of scientific models. And if you can make, you know, a scientific model into a working piece of furniture, why not? Isn't that right, girl? Isn't that right? So, me and girl would like to thank everyone for watching and for kind of looking into these Tensegrity structures. They're super awesome. And as they can become functional, lightweight pieces of furniture, they are a great addition to any home. So, as always, thank you for watching. Stay creative, my friends. Hold the cat.